On a cold December day in 1988, just days before Christmas, the small town of Millwood, Georgia was forever changed when a truck driver made a chilling discovery in the woods. Inside an abandoned television console, authorities found the decomposed remains of a young girl, wrapped in a blanket and encased in concrete. For over 30 years, the identity of the child, known only as Christmas Doe, remained a mystery. But in 2023, a breakthrough came when a tip led to the identification of the child as 5-year-old Kenyatta Odom. As investigators pieced together the truth, they uncovered a tragic story of abuse, leading to the arrest of Kenyatta's mother and her boyfriend. Welcome to Urban Crime Stories. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe for upcoming crime stories. On that cold day in December, a truck driver was traveling along the quiet and isolated Duncan Bridge Road in Millwood, Georgia. His eyes caught sight of something unusual by the roadside, an old television console abandoned in the underbrush. Curious, and perhaps thinking it could be salvaged, he pulled over to take a closer look. As he inspected the console, he noticed a black suitcase lodged inside, sloppily sealed with cement. Intrigued by its strange appearance, he decided to open it, never expecting the horror he was about to uncover. Using whatever tools he had on hand, the truck driver managed to break open the suitcase. Inside, he found a gym bag that reeked of decay. As he unzipped the bag, he made a grim discovery: the decomposing remains of a young African-American girl. The body was wrapped in a brown blanket, carefully folded and placed inside the gym bag. The layers of concealment inside the TV console suggested a deliberate effort to hide her remains, though the poorly executed sealing of the suitcase ultimately failed to keep her concealed. Shaken by the horrific sight, the truck driver quickly returned to his vehicle and called the police to report what he had found. Authorities arrived promptly and cordoned off the scene to preserve any evidence. The discovery of a child's body in such a remote area sent shockwaves through the responding officers, many of whom had never encountered such a chilling crime. The remote location and the methodical yet sloppy disposal of the body raised immediate suspicions of foul play. Investigators began scouring the area for additional clues, collecting the suitcase, gym bag, and TV console for further forensic examination. The girl's identity was an immediate mystery. She had no identification, no personal belongings, and nothing that might indicate who she was or where she came from. Her advanced state of decomposition made it difficult to determine her age or the cause of death at first glance. Law enforcement turned their focus to forensic evidence, examining the blanket and bags for hairs, fibers, fingerprints, or DNA that could point to her killer. They also worked to trace the origin of the television console, hoping it might provide clues to the perpetrator or where the crime had occurred. At the time of the discovery, investigators determined that the young girl had been deceased for 1 to 2 months. She was estimated to be around 3 years old, standing 2 feet 9 and weighing approximately 30 pounds. While her death was ruled a homicide, the exact cause of death remained undetermined. Investigators were able to rule out shooting and stabbing, but the precise manner of her death eluded them. Due to the timing of her discovery, so close to the Christmas holiday, the child was given the heartbreaking nickname Christmas Doe, a name that would symbolize the mystery and sorrow surrounding her case. The investigation into Christmas Doe's death was launched immediately. The Ware County Sheriff's Office requested assistance from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation Field Office in Douglas, Georgia. Early clues pointed to a possible connection to Albany, Georgia, after investigators found an Albany Herald newspaper near the scene. Acting on this lead, authorities began canvassing the Albany area, interviewing locals door to door in hopes of uncovering information about the young girl's identity or any suspicious activity. Despite their efforts, no leads emerged. Investigators also scoured national and state databases for reports of missing children whose descriptions matched that of Christmas Doe. The search was extensive, reaching across the country, but yielded no matches. Authorities worked tirelessly to identify the girl, employing every tool available to them at the time. This included forensic testing, extensive media coverage, and collaboration with local social service organizations. Investigators compared the remains to missing children from multiple states, including Michigan, Pennsylvania, and South Carolina. Yet, despite these efforts, Every lead turned into a dead end. As years turned into decades, Christmas Doe remained unidentified, and her case grew colder. As time went on, law enforcement agencies intensified their efforts, leveraging advancements in forensic technology and renewing appeals to the public. Authorities issued repeated pleas for information, hoping to reach someone who might hold a key piece of the puzzle. Media campaigns aimed to draw attention back to the case, reminding people of the unresolved tragedy of the little girl whose life was cut short and whose story was left untold. The lack of identification not only hindered the investigation, but also left a deep emotional toll on the investigators and the community. The inability to connect Christmas Doe to a name or a family added another layer of heartbreak to an already tragic story. The unanswered questions lingered in the community. Who was she? Where was her family? How did she come to such a horrific end? In 2009, the investigation into the tragic case of Christmas Doe received renewed focus when authorities reached out to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for assistance. Known for its expertise in handling cases involving unidentified children, the National Center joined forces with investigators to explore every possible avenue to uncover the young girl's identity. Their work included conducting extensive analytical searches and utilizing DNA testing to find potential matches to missing children. Over the years, their commitment remained unwavering as they provided resources and expertise to assist in solving the decades-old mystery. By 2012, the National Center for Missing Children intensified its involvement, deploying Team Adam to Georgia. This specialized group of experts is dedicated to aiding cases involving missing and unidentified children, and their arrival marked a turning point in the investigation. They conducted an in-depth review of the case, collaborating with investigators to develop new strategies for identifying the child. One significant initiative included creating a new facial reconstruction. Using a CT scan of the child's skull, forensic artists digitally recreated her likeness, ensuring a faithful representation of her features. To add further context, they also recreated images of the pajamas she had been wearing when she was found. These images became pivotal in raising awareness, appearing on National Center for Missing Children posters and the organization's Facebook page, which shares details of unidentified children to reach a broader audience. In 2019, technological advancements offered new hope in the case. Investigators turned to genome sequencing, a cutting-edge method that has revolutionized forensic investigations in recent years. DNA extracted from the girl's remains was analyzed to build a genetic profile, which could be used to trace her family lineage. Collaborating with the Ware County Sheriff's Office, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation Crime Lab, and private laboratories, authorities focused on constructing a family tree. The genealogical research pointed to a family from the Albany, Georgia area, bringing investigators closer to understanding her origins. However, despite the promising leads, the exact identity of Christmas Doe remained elusive, leaving investigators to continue their relentless search for answers. For years, investigators persisted, leveraging every resource and technological tool available. Public appeals were frequently made, particularly around the anniversaries of the child's discovery, in the hope of jogging someone's memory or reaching a new audience. Each plea brought a renewed sense of urgency, but the case continued to languish without a definitive breakthrough. The mystery of Christmas Doe haunted investigators and the community alike, fueling their determination to bring justice and closure to the story of the little girl who had remained nameless for so long. Then, in 2022, the case took a significant turn. On the anniversary of the child's death, a news story revisiting her case aired, reigniting public interest in the decades-old tragedy. Shortly afterward, a crucial tip surfaced from a member of the public who recognized the facial reconstruction of the unidentified girl created by the National Center for Missing Children. This information, combined with genealogical research conducted in prior years, helped investigators narrow their focus to a specific branch of the family tree. In January 2023, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation acted on the tip received in 2022. The tipster believed the young girl was Kenyatta Odom, a child whose disappearance had long remained unaccounted for in her community. Building on this lead, Authorities worked to locate Kenyatta's relatives and gather crucial evidence. Through their cooperation, DNA testing confirmed that Ware County's Christmas doe was indeed 5-year-old Kenyatta Odom, bringing resolution to a case that had puzzled investigators for decades. The identification of Kenyatta marked a turning point in the case and shifted the investigation's focus toward uncovering the circumstances of her tragic death. Authorities soon zeroed in on Kenyatta's mother, Evelyn Odom, and Evelyn's boyfriend at the time, Ulysses Sanders, as primary suspects. On November 1, 2023, a Dougherty County grand jury formally indicted the couple. The indictment charged them with multiple crimes, including felony murder, first-degree cruelty to children, aggravated battery, concealing Kenyatta's death, and conspiring to conceal her remains. A week later, on November 9, 2023, both were arrested, bringing the long unsolved case to a critical juncture. The details outlined in the indictment painted a harrowing picture of Kenyatta's final days. Prosecutors alleged that Evelyn and Ulysses subjected the young girl to severe abuse, including submerging her in scalding hot water, which inflicted significant injuries to her legs and feet. These injuries ultimately led to her death. In an attempt to cover up the crime, the pair reportedly encased her small body in concrete and concealed it within the large television console before discarding it in the remote woods of Ware County. A critical piece of evidence came from the tipster, who revealed a chilling childhood memory that contributed to the arrests. The tipster recalled being told as a child that the reason Kenyatta was no longer around was because she had gone to live with her father. However, the tipster admitted that they never really believed that story, prompting them to reach out to authorities after recognizing the facial reconstruction. Investigators later confirmed that Ulysses was not Kenyatta's father and began efforts to identify her biological father, hoping to shed more light on her life and familial circumstances. The indictment against Evelyn and Ulysses carries grave implications. If found guilty of Kenyatta's murder, the pair face a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment. The arrests and charges bring a sense of justice within reach, but they also highlight the unimaginable suffering endured by a young child who was failed by those entrusted with her care. Kenyatta's identification, while a breakthrough, is a solemn reminder of the profound tragedy that robbed her of a chance to grow up and live her life. What are your thoughts about this heartbreaking story? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications for upcoming crime stories. Your support is greatly appreciated. Until next time, I will see you with another episode of Urban Crime Stories.